Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Brendan Dunn, and I have two pretty awesome things in store for you today. The first is going to be a deep dive primer on how to go about architecting your segmentation. So I know that's a mouthful, but basically what I want to do is I want to teach you how to go through and segment your list correctly. Because to be honest with you, a lot of people are doing kind of the bare minimum when it comes to segmentation. So I'm going to show you how to do that right. Second thing is I have a worksheet for you that is going to help you apply what I cover in this video. So I'm going to teach you some stuff, and then I'm going to give you this worksheet so you can start to put into action what I've taught, with the end goal of this all to be that you take what I teach and what you do and go over into your email marketing app and start to apply this so that you can have better segmentation in place, which will then lead to you being able to better communicate with your list. If you can better communicate with your list, if you can show them better messages, better sales pages, better calls to action, they're going to be more engaged, which is going to make them more likely to buy. So this is good for you because it will obviously give you more sales and give you more conversions and so on. But if you do this right, it's good for your intended customers because they're going to have a better experience. They're going to get better, more useful, more relevant material sent to them from you. Okay, so that's the ambition of this video. Let's talk now about why. Why segment? So I just gave you a few ideas on why segmentation leads to better sales and a better experience, and so on and so forth. But segmentation is going to allow you to really do so many more things than you're probably able to do right now. So you probably want to have a very sophisticated way of leveraging marketing automation in your business, or you probably want to start using personalization to make it so your website and the emails that you send are more relevant and more appropriate for the people on the receiving end. But you cannot do either of those two things correctly without segmentation. So segmentation is a bit of like a bedrock of a proper online business done right, is having really good segmentation that reflects where somebody is in your overall funnel, who they are, and what they need from you. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on in this quick little video. And again, I've got this doc that is going to be that will help you tremendously in figuring out just how to put into action a lot of what I'll be covering. But let's start with the theory first. So the theory is that there are three kind of hallmarks of good segmentation. So this is where somebody is in your overall funnel. I call this the life cycle of a customer. And then there's who somebody is and how they self-identify. And then there's what somebody needs. So why are they here? What do they need from you in order to make their time with you worthwhile? So those are going to be the three different kind of groupings, if you will, that we're going to be focusing on. And we're going to start with the where. Now, fortunately, the where is actually kind of easy for most of us because the where is it's kind of a series of what people have done or not done with your business. So for example, at a minimum, you have anonymous people. These are people who are on your website. They just came there from Google, or maybe they were referred to you from social media or somebody else's blog. They click over, they're on your website. They probably don't know much about you at that point, but that's them. They're just anonymous. You have zero idea who these people are. The next stage that they would move into would be something like the lead stage or the subscriber stage. So they opt into your newsletter or they download a lead magnet. Now they are on your list. They have a record for themselves in ConvertKit or in Drip or whatever it is you're using. From then, they move hopefully to becoming a customer, right? So maybe they buy your entry-level product that you pitch them after they join your list, or maybe they start a trial for your software, or maybe they book a sales call if you're a services company. That would be kind of the upgrade stage, right? From them being just a subscriber, just a member of your audience. And then it obviously depends on you and your business, but you could go and you could have somebody become a more premium customer. Maybe they buy your mastermind stuff. They buy a group coaching from you. They buy a better, more expensive course, or maybe they convert from trial to customer, maybe now from customer to, or monthly customer to annual customer. In this doc, I've put together everything you need to kind of map out the different stages. But what this is going to let you do is when you have the funnel worked out, I call this the offer funnel of a individual. So where are they in relationship to you? You're going to be able to use that data to deliver better calls to action to people. So this could be when they're on your site reading their latest blog post, you're going to give them, instead of the opt-in form for the returning subscriber, you'll push them to your entry-level product. And then the person who's bought that product comes back, and now they're getting pushed to buy your more premium product. So when you have this life cycle funnel defined and you've modeled a segmentation strategy around it, you're going to be able to do things like making it so whenever you send a newsletter out, the PS under your signature could be dynamic based on what they should do next. So they're on your list, but they haven't attended your webinar. Maybe you get them to join your upcoming webinar. They've done that. Maybe they're already a customer and you want them to go to some mastermind retreat you're doing in Cabo. Cool. You push that to just these people. So when you have this where-based or this life cycle-based funnel, you can then show better, more appropriate messages that tell people pretty much what they should be doing next. So again, in the worksheet, you're going to be able to map out all these different stages. You can also think in terms of linear versus nonlinear. So for some people, it might be truly linear. You are anonymous, you're now a subscriber, you've now bought the entry-level thing, you've bought the premium thing, and then you bought the solo coaching, right? That could be a form of a linear funnel. But you might even have branching. You might be able to say, well, if they buy this product, then we want to push this other product to them, versus if they buy that product, then push this to them. So in the worksheet on the first page, you're going to be able to map out all these different discrete stages. And then on the second page, you're going to go through and kind of visually map out the flow or how these different stages relate to each other. So that's the first thing. That should be kind of easy because most of us are already storing purchase data or this other kind of action data in our email backend. So a contact record for a subscriber might be tagged as purchased course or bought your mastermind or whatever it is you've done, you probably have that data already associated with people. So by doing this, you can put together this offer funnel that says, well, if they're anonymous, I want them on my list. If they're on my list, I want them to buy the entry-level thing. If they bought the entry-level thing, I want them to buy the premium thing, and so on and so forth. So on this third page, that's what you'll do is you'll kind of map this out visually. And then you should be able to then go into your email marketing setup and be able to set up saved segments that represent things like if they are a subscriber but not a customer, then they're on that kind of lead stage or subscriber stage. If they're a customer, meaning they're a subscriber too, but they haven't been a customer of this, then they're in this stage. So by mapping it out visually first, you'll then be able to take that and go back and be able to kind of code this in, or not code it, and that's the wrong word, but apply this to your email marketing backend setup. Okay, so once you've done that, once you've mapped out the where component of your segmentation strategy, the next thing is to think about the who. And again, these next two kind of components, most of us really aren't doing. We're pretty good at tracking purchase data and what they've registered for lead magnet wise or webinar wise or whatever else. But in terms of getting data about who somebody is, most of us aren't doing that. So on the next step of the worksheet, I'm going to have you go through and list out what I call the top level dimensions of how somebody might identify. And this could be things like their industry, job role, company size, how aware they are of you and your product, their general level of sophistication, or even their demographics, especially if you're selling to B2B or B2C people, male, female, age range, and so on. And what you're going to be able to do with this who data is you're going to be able to do things like changing up testimonials or case studies based on who somebody is. So if the person in the retail industry shows up, they're going to see case studies or testimonials of people who are like them, who are in retail. Or if somebody who is a marketer shows up instead of somebody who's an executive or a technical person, they might see different language, different examples, different benefits based on how you've segmented them along this kind of this who grouping, if that makes sense. So go through in the worksheet and just kind of chart out and map out and list out the different things that you could act on. So again, you don't need to be thinking, well, I need to capture industry, job role, and company size because it listed here on this sheet. No, only capture data that you think can actually have a tangible impact on the way you communicate with somebody. So in Right Message, what we do is our who data is what email marketing software to use. In Double Your Freelancing, which is my other business, I capture what kind of freelancing work do you do and what size are you? Are you an agency? Are you solo? Or have you not started yet? These are the kind of who things that allow me to make it so when I further communicate with them later on, if somebody hasn't yet started, I can communicate differently to them than I would with somebody who is looking to scale an agency. Okay. So once you've gone through and you've mapped out kind of the top level who dimensions like industry, job role, and so on the next sheet, I'm going to ask you to drill down into each of these and to come up with discrete segments for each. So industry might have retail, nonprofit, government, construction, hospitality, whatever you think would be the kind of the main things that people could fall into. Now, I know a lot of you have pretty niche companies already. So you might be thinking, well, I'm already targeting a niche. Do I really need to be doing this? But despite how targeted you think your company and your products are, you could probably go more specific. You could look at how aware somebody is of you, or you could look at things like, my case, let's say I'm targeting freelance designers. Well, I could get into, well, what kind of projects do you typically do? Do you do website designs? Do you do branding? Do you do print? So you could probably find ways to kind of subdivide any niche segmentation that you think you already have in place. Okay. So after you've captured the who data, the final component is going to be the what data or the need. So why is somebody here? What do they need from you to make their experience with you worthwhile? So in my case, with the Double Your Freelancing example, I want to know, why are you here? Are you here because you're looking to start a business? Are you here because you're looking to start pricing on value? Are you here because you are struggling to close proposals? There are any sort of reasons why somebody might be looking at your website, might be looking at your blog, might be looking at your software's marketing site. And if you can capture what that need is, you can then reframe the way you position your product or your service or whatever else based off that. So if I know, for instance, that, let's say with Right Message, if I know that somebody is on our marketing website and has said to us, I have no idea about anything relating to segmentation and personalization, but I think it could be useful, I'm going to communicate with them more basically, for lack of a better way of putting it, than I would to somebody who already has a lot of knowledge around that and is looking for a turnkey tool that can help them put into action what they already know they need done, right? So by capturing the need, you're going to be able to change things like the offer you give somebody. So if somebody hasn't bought your entry-level course, and say that course is about how to price, and then one of the needs could be, I'm struggling to close proposals. I'm writing proposals, I'm getting project leads, I'm sending them, but they're not closing. The way that I position that offer, the way that I position that course for them could be, here's how this course will help you fix your proposal problem and win more projects. Whereas if somebody else is primed for that same course, but instead for them, they're looking to just get started. For them, it could be, hey, you want to start out freelancing the right way, you need to know how to price. This course will help you do that. So the need is going to compound with the who and the where to really present the perfect offer that is positioned and described ideally for the person on the receiving end, which is exactly what we do offline. So if I'm at a conference and I'm talking to you and you tell me a bit about kind of who you are and what you do, and then I obviously have my products or my businesses. I'm going to describe them differently to you based on, well, what kind of conference are we at? This is a marketing conference. Okay, you probably know quite a bit about marketing. Oh, you work in this industry? Oh, let me tell you about how this product has helped people in that industry. So it's exactly what we do offline. But by capturing these three different kind of groupings, the where somebody is, so what they should be getting next, who somebody is, how they identify, and how that affects the way that the language you use, and the social proof or testimonials that you give somebody, along with the what. So what is it that they're here for, and how, when you describe an offer, can you describe it in such a way that resonates best with them? That's like the perfect trifecta, right? If you can get all three of those, you're going to be able to better communicate with people. You can send them better email sequences that have personalized copy, like maybe different examples that you give. This example paragraph is for people in this industry, that paragraph for people in that industry, and so on. You can do all that really effectively and very easily, so that when the people get that email, they're thinking, wow, this is exactly for me. They don't need to be trying to think, all right, I'm seeing this example for this unrelated industry. Can this still actually help me? They need to kind of do the work themselves to translate what you're telling them into what they uniquely need. So if you can capture these three core components of data and assign that to somebody's subscriber record in your email marketing account, then you don't need to leave people wondering. You don't need to leave people thinking, how does this benefit me? Instead, you're telling them, here's what you need, here's why you need it, and here's how it has helped other people just like you. So those are the kind of the three building blocks, three components of segmentation done right. Again, most people, when they segment, they're only sticking to the action-based stuff, like what they've bought or whatever else. And again, that has its uses. But if you can capture these three components, you're going to change the fundamental trajectory of the way that you communicate with people on your list or on your site, and it's just going to make their experience with you so much better, but also lead to better results for you, because people will see, oh, I see how this benefits me. I see why I need this. Buy, enter in credit card, and go from there. In terms of collecting this data, I'm going to be dropping a lot of videos in the future that get more into different ways that you can collect data like this, as a brief kind of go Google this or go YouTube this kind of exploratory option for the moment. Things like trigger links or link triggers in your email marketing app, or doing things like sending people to a hosted survey and then using tools like Zapier to collect that feedback and then associate it with their subscriber record. That's one way. You can use tools like Write Message, which gives you self-segmenting or surveying functionality on your website, where somebody shows up and you can say, hey, what do you need help with? I need help with X. Hey, who are you? I am this. And then all that data can then be associated with their record in your email marketing backend. Now, if you're thinking, a lot of people at this point are probably thinking, this all sounds good. I get it. I get why I need to be doing this, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what the who's and the what's are. My task or challenge for you right now would be to go and find whatever emails you're sending people when they join your list, or maybe in your next email newsletter that you send people, put a little PS that basically says, hey, I'd love to find out more about who you are and what the number one thing that you need me to do is. Or let's say it's an email course. They opt into your email course and it's sold to them by saying, join this email course and I will teach you everything you need to know about marketing. So they join that email course, and at the end of the first lesson, have a PS saying, I'd love to find out more about who you are, and specifically, what do you need this email course to accomplish for you? Let people reply. You get a lot of feedback, and eventually you can distill all that raw feedback into a few, like 3, 4, 5 core segments that you can then replace that reply PS and use trigger links or a survey form or something else to collect exactly that data, which can then say, oh, you're struggling with proposals, cool. Or, oh, I'm struggling with how do I use Facebook ads? That's why you joined my marketing email course. Cool. By the time I pitch you on the paid product, guess what we're going to focus on? We're going to focus on Facebook ads. Guess what that general tone will be when I communicate with you in the future. It'll be based on the data that you've been telling me, right? So again, I'm going to be getting deep into how to actually collect this data and how to use this data in the future. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, below this video, click the subscribe button, click the bell to get notified when I drop a new video. So I'm going to be covering all this in the future. But in the meantime, on your screen right now is a link to get this PDF worksheet. This comes from Project Pack, which is a joint collaboration I'm doing with Laura Elizabeth, which is designed for freelancers and agency owners to basically give their clients really nicely designed document templates for everything from contracts to onboarding docs to, in this case, your segmentation questionnaire. But I wanted to pull this specific document out of that paid Project Pack and give it to you away for free. So if you go to the URL at the bottom of this video or in the description, you can get this PDF, print it out, spend some time marking it up, going through it, and just applying what I cover or what I just covered. And by the end of this, you should have a pretty solid starting point to think, even if I can't do this overnight, I need to start thinking, how can I start shifting the way that I collect data to be focused on getting this data? And even if you don't know what you'll personalize or how it will affect your marketing automation, just by getting this data now, you can start making it so by the time that you're ready to put in place personalization, or the time you're ready to start to really overhaul your automation, you'll have the data that you need to make that super effective out of the gate.